Good morning, Maddi. How are you doing today?
Good morning. How are you?
Ooh, listen to that energy. I love that.
Yes, I'm coming to you this morning from Culver City, California.
Wow.
And this may be the third time I've woken up this early this month. So please have grace for me.
You know, those wake-up calls, I mean, I've done morning radio, so getting up in the morning at 2:45 to do a 6 a.m. show, I mean, it just became a way of life is what it did.
Wow. Major respect.
Well, yeah, and you know, the hardest thing about it is that people go, so were you afraid of falling asleep driving into the radio station? I said, no, I was afraid of drunk drivers coming out of the bars and stuff that late at night.
Yeah, absolutely.
Man,
for sure.
You've got a showmanship name, Maddi Jane. I mean, it's got a, I would love to talk over a song intro while introducing your brand new song.
Thank you.
How
my Jane is actually my actual middle name,
okay.
So it's not completely left field.
Couldn't you see that up on a marquee though?
Maybe someday, yeah.
Finding yourself in the world of music, what was the journey like for you to take those necessary steps? Because it is a journey. It's about exploring, but it's also about hitting walls and different types of mountains.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I've been in this business for about 13 years.
Wow.
And I started when I was 11 years old, and the Ellen DeGeneres show was doing a contest online. And so I was doing a lot of theater at that time, so I didn't know if I was going to be able to make it because I had obligations to my community theater. But they asked if I would go and participate in this contest in Los Angeles. And so my big internet debut or whatever was being on the Ellen show when I was 11. And then at that point in time, we also signed with a production team in Nashville who wanted to sort of explore the YouTube space. And it was pretty new and novel at that point. But working with them, I feel like I really developed as an artist in learning how to be professional and, do professional shoots and connect with a fan base. And all of that happened sort of very unexpectedly for my family. But my parents are both psychologists. They're not in the entertainment business. So it was definitely a learning curve. And to just be launched into that so young, I feel like it's been such a long journey of finding my voice and finding out the type of artist I want to be. I've learned over the years, I want to be a producer as well. I want to be very involved in vocal production, and I want to, just know more than just showing up in the booth and singing what is written,
Yeah. There's such leadership inside your journey. And it's so many times people make it to NBC's The Voice and they haven't had that social media connection. They haven't had that one-on-one interview style. And so you bring a lot of skills to your moment of now.
Aw, thank you so much. Appreciate that.
And to want to get into music production, oh my God, it is the best place to be right now because, back in the old days, you had to go find a studio. These days, you can have your own studio.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's been so cool to there's so many resources on YouTube now as well. I remember debating should I go, to school for this or should I just teach myself on YouTube? And I ended up just being diligent about making flashcards from tutorials that I would find online. And it really gave me all the tools that I needed to communicate with producers and have a better scope of what I wanted. So yeah, there's so many resources online now. It's very cool.
Don't you love the way that you can just sit there and study what you want to do and then you can make the decisions by taking a chance? Because I do a defrag journal where I break things down. I ask questions and I question the answers. And to me, it helps build that path so that you can reach that goal.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. And they didn't have this this is a relatively new thing. It's very empowering, especially to entrepreneurs.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, your studio is in a garage, and Mark Maron does his podcast from a garage. The garage is where it's all at.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel the same way. I'm actually in it right now.
I was going to ask you, okay, you're right. It is a safe space. But when you walk in there, does your personality change? Because when I walk into this studio, all of a sudden, everything is different in the world.
I do feel that way. Sometimes I open it and I'm like, a world of possibilities. Mm-hmm. Here I am. Yeah, I definitely feel that.
Where is the echo inside that garage? Because every room has some sort of echo place, and you can use that as a musical tool.
Yeah, absolutely. I've worked pretty hard to get the echo out of the room. Yeah. So my booth is like, I insulated the corner with like some recording panels. So hopefully there's not too much echo in here anymore.
Yeah, yeah. The way I got rid of echo inside this studio is stuffed animals.
Really?
Yeah, because it absorbs the sound, and so therefore you can design the room all yours, and without having to have that soundproof board on the wall, and it looks so it's green and it's gray, and it's like it's got that
totally
I just put stuffed animals in here, and it just takes it all in.
I bet. And you know what probably provides that personal aspect and the personality, and people walk in and they're like, wow.
Yeah.
Back in my childhood bedroom, like, let's go.
Yeah, yeah. And there are pictures up of my wife and pictures of my dogs and things like that, because you're right. Because one of the things they teach us in radio, and I'm sure they do it with musicians as well, is that, speak with them. Don't sit there and think you're singing to somebody that you can't see. Speak to that picture.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Wow. Connection is everything. And I think that's what I've been realizing with the music business in general is like the fans and the supporters that I'm making online, like they are the ones who really hold the keys to your next step as an independent artist. It used to be all about like, what do the labels think of me? And like, what do these corporations think of me? And now I'm just like, honestly, like, do my fans feel like loved today and like appreciated, like that they're here and that they're pouring so much into supporting me? Like I feel like if anything, this competition has like shifted my focus to like the right places in that way, I think.
Yeah. I mean, Chance the Rapper, look at that. I mean, his journey as well has always been about the people. Be with the people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And that's how you leave like a legacy in this industry in the first place, is like, I want to be accessible. And there's so much pressure in this industry to be like aloof and, have it together and only post stuff on Instagram that's like you popping off with the best outfit ever. And I'm just kind of like, I think that age is sort of fading out like very quickly. Yeah. I think that people want something deeper than that.
So many people speak of, well, where is the music at in music stores? And it's like, but bands and other musicians are starting to put a lot of focus on, well, wait a second, we can put the music out there and we can make the internet the gigantic new music store. But the question is, how do we get people to the music? How do you deal with that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that, like I said, like I'm just focusing on the people who are already here.
Yeah.
And not focusing too much on the people that are still out there, because I just believe that if I pour into the people who already resonate with my stuff, like they will spread it around and they will bring their friends and like other people who I want in my audience, rather than just like trying to grab people's attention through like shock factor or like, through being sensual or something like that. It's just like, honestly, I want good people who are, I don't know, who appreciate good music and they're just here to learn and grow and like go through this journey of life together. Yeah, that's kind of how I'm focusing on it right now.
Your love for people and the way that people react, and you can create a community with it. Did it start with the Christian Youth Theater? Because, I mean, you totally understand that connection.
Oh, absolutely. The Christian Youth Theater, so it was ages 8 to 18, and I started when I was 8. And so there were a lot of older girls who were like 16 who really like took me under their wing and like taught me how to do makeup for the first time and like would let me hang out with their friends. And it gave me a lot of confidence. And just a lot of like social exposure, to be around so many eccentric people. And there was like 100 people in the cast. Like every show, there was 100 people. From private school, homeschool, public school.
Wow.
I was homeschooled. So it kind of really just like, I dove into the deep end of like, oh, wow, these are all the different types of kids in my area. And it was so much fun. It was so much fun. Everyone was so goofy and creative and gave me a great place to grow, as a kid.
Wow, you talk about how it came to an end at the age of 18. God, you just gave me a huge flashback because all of a sudden the things that I was doing were groups also. When you were 18, it was over. And it was like, oh my God, what am I going to do with my life? And I thought, okay, that right there is going to be the big bridge for me to get on with my life. What did you go through when that wasn't there anymore?
Yeah, absolutely. So I was in high school and everyone was choosing their, private Christian colleges.
Yeah.
I'm actually from Chicago. I'm from Wheaton, Illinois. And my mom teaches at Wheaton College. And so we're like very involved in that like Christian private school circle. But it was really cool. My parents were like, honestly, you're at a place in music where if you want to just pursue music full time, like we support you. And I took a gap year after high school and I wore like a Monsters University hat to that day when everyone's wearing their school merchandise because I didn't know what to wear. And and I just like took a pause and really just sort of prayed into like where I should go next.
Yeah.
And then both my parents didn't want me to move to LA unless I had found a community that they trusted and was positive. And through actually someone from theater, I found this awesome community in Culver City that, they all have the same faith as me. Good. And that's how I actually like live in a house of like 7 Christian girls.
No.
And they let me have the studio to just create or the garage.
Yeah.
And so it's been a huge support for me.
Well, I'm so proud of you for keeping God active in your life because, it is a way of life. And it's like, as many times as we question the things that are going on in life, you're never alone. You may have those 7 girls there, but you're never alone.
Wow, that's so good. Yeah, I totally agree. He's honestly been the one to open and close doors in this industry for me my whole life. And I was honestly just like so surprised when the door of The Voice opened because he's had me in a season for so long of like development and sort of like resetting like my whole perspective on what's important to me. Because everything moved so quickly from the ages of like 8 to 19, really. Like I never stopped to just like develop as a person or develop my musical skills very much. It was like I signed with one production company to another, and there was no gaps in between. And every single production company had the same goal, which was to get me signed and like get this big bonus from the label. Like that was the whole goal. And meanwhile, like I felt like my prayer life actually got a lot better because I was like, God, I'm getting the sense that the people leading me, like, I don't want to go where they want to go.
Yep.
Like I'm starting to get this like very clear feeling like I do not want to go where they want to go. But there was like this verse that connected with me, which was just kind of like people will let you down, but like, God has the path of like wisdom and clarity. I can't remember the exact verse right now, but I held on to it a lot. And so it's been so interesting, like the places that he's led me. And when I was 19, I sort of split from like the business situations I was in, and like put up a lot of boundaries when I moved out to Los Angeles. And I didn't know like who who the Lord was going to bring into my life.
Yep.
But I prayed that they would be the right people. And I just leaned into a lot of church communities. I did an internship with Church Home College, which is like Judah Smith out here. Yeah. And it was really cool to see like different celebrities like Justin Bieber up there on stage.
Yes.
Like he was just preaching like purely the gospel, you know. And I know he's controversial. I know people think different things about him, but when I met him and got to like worship lead with him at that church, like he was very genuine, very authentic in his faith. And yeah, it sort of set the tone of LA for me. I was like, oh wow, like if you're a believer here, like you're the real deal. Yeah. Like there can be no like wishy-washy in LA. Like it's either you're in or you're out. And
so true.
Because the lines here are so clear. It's like, oh, like you're living for money and like greed, or you're living to literally advance God's kingdom. Like you cannot be in between.
Wow.
And so it was great to like have those examples of like perseverance, and just he was also like making so much money as like a child, and just to see him and where he's at now, I was so inspired by like his healing journey. Yeah. And so definitely my church community was kind of like the priority after I turned 19. It was just, well, I'm just gonna pour into this, and then, you know, God will show me where to go and how to grow after that. And so, yeah, it's like a bit of the story.
Wow. Are you going? I'm spoiled here in Charlotte. We have Pastor Stephen Furtick at Elevation Church, and we've got the Elevation Worship Band.
Wow, and I love Stephen Furtick.
Oh my God! And to be in his house or God's house with him is just amazing.
Yeah.
And so I mean, but see, so when you speak like that, I'm going, oh my God, she's one of us. She's a believer. She's an activator. she's E-group. She's everything that Stephen Furtick is always talking about.
Wow, that's so cool. I love Jesus. I follow Jesus. I was not expecting like a Christian circle to be speaking to today. So I'm like really pumped and excited. And I'm like, okay, praise God, because it's like so early. It's so early, and I feel so much like more comfortable now. This is great.
Will you travel with the modern sound of a Christian music like Elevation Worship? How do you see your future?
Yeah, I'm actually trying to figure that out right now. I was raised on a lot of like R&B, and when I was 15, the production team I signed to was in New York, and it was actually people that started like Murder Inc. with like Jay-Z, and it was very, you know, like Estelle, like Ashanti. Yeah. Rihanna type energy, and I feel like I picked up a lot of the stylistic behavior of that, but my heart is so for like redeeming like the pop industry and redeeming like just the ways that like women especially carry themselves in the pop industry. I'm just like, there's so much like beauty and like class in being a woman, and also like, yes, like being powerful and all these things, but like we don't need to like present ourselves in a certain way in order to like get what you want in life or get what you want in the industry. And like I think what I feel in my heart is like, if God could open a door for me to be a pop artist and be in that urban space, but be like standing for him, I think that's what I would want to do.
Oh, you've got to come back to this show anytime in the future. The door is always going to be open for you, Maddi.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Well, you be brilliant today, and you enjoy this journey with all the people in radio.
I absolutely will. And it's been such a pleasure talking to you. And to everyone over there, like, keep shining.
That's it.
Keep standing tall in your faith and loving the people around you.
Beautiful heart. Thank you so much.